Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Nathan's 3D Factory. I hope that everyone had a good holiday. I know I did. So, anyway, I wanted to show you something that was inspired off of one of my previous tutorials, and that was doing transform constraints. Okay, so I made kind of this latch object, I guess you could say. So something to kind of show how you can constrain your stuff to move in a certain way, right? Now, right here I have these two objects, and if I were just to move this object, I'd want to have this one contained in it. But if I do that, you'll see that I move it, and this doesn't go with it, right? So I'm going to turn this off for the moment. So this can move around, do all this stuff. Well, if I just want this to move in a certain way, and I don't want it to go past a certain point, I can constrain this. Also, I want to have this so this is parented to this object. So to do that, I will do Shift Select on here and Control P. There we go. All right. Now, if I move this object around, now this object moves with it, right? So, but now if I want to move this object, if I want to have this just do things in a certain way, I would like to have this so that this can just rotate in certain fashion. So if I rotate this, well, look at this. I can rotate in a full 360. But in a physical world, if this were a physical object, this would not rotate past maybe this point right here, right? And same with the other direction, Rx. It's going to go right through the mesh. If we want to make this more realistic, then we're going to have to limit that. And then we would also have to rotate this on here. And then we'd slide it over, right? But if this goes past here, well, that's not realistic. Neither is this, right? So here's what we'll do then. Now, the rest of this, you're going to have to kind of use your imagination, right? You're not going to be just, like going through G, X, if you're going to animate this or simulate it, you got to use some smarts too. So, anyway, so how do we do the constraints? Now we go into our object constraints right here. So I'm going to do a couple of them. I'm going to do limit rotation and limit location. Okay. Now, if I were to try and rotate anything on here, well, I can still rotate everything, and I need to limit my axes. And on here, limit rotation has limit X rotation, Y, and Z. Now, I want to have this so that if this rotates, then it's going to rotate it with this. Because if I were to do this in world space, I'm going to show you what's happening. So we're going to limit the X rotation in world space. Now, RX, RX, okay. So, we're going to limit these as well. Okay, so you can already see right here, if we were to rotate this as well, yeah, that does actually rotate it. But look at what some of the weird stuff it does, right? RX, weird stuff, isn't it? So, I don't want this to be rotating in the y-axis in any way. So that locks that. Oh yes, and I also want to apply rotation. That's something I didn't do. Okay, I'll do the same here. Apply rotation, RX. So now you're seeing right here that this is rotating, but this isn't. So what we can do is that we can do a local space, and that'll kind of take care of some things for now, right? So now that's good right there. So now what we want to do is that we want to limit this rotation so that only, actually I want to do this one too. I just want to do the X rotation. There we go. So what we're going to do is that we're going to start doing a minimum and a maximum. Okay, and now we're going to start testing this. Okay. All right. So now we're getting kind of an idea of what we want. Okay. So if we were to do, like, say, about a 30-degree rotation, then what we could do is say, all right, I want the max to be 30. Okay. And now we have our max there. Nice. Now this way, a little bit less there. Let's see. Yeah, I definitely don't want to have it that high. So if I were to take this to, say, -60, let's see what that does. Okay, I could go a little bit further, -75. Let's see how that looks on here. Does that stop it or intersect it anyway? Okay, it kind of intersects, so I think I want to do -60 and have it stop there. Okay. Gives us kind of a safe place to go. So this is going to be our minimum. Okay, so now, if I'm rotating this, those are my minimums and maximums. There we go. Now I can do Alt-R to get it back into its default position, right? Okay. So that gets us something, right? And then what we can do is we can do a limit location. So rotation is taken care of. Now limit location is what we're going to do. So if we do moving this around, it's fine, right? But I want to limit where things go. So I want to lock the location here. Let's see. And I want that to be Y and Z are limited. Okay. So that way, all I have to worry about is where the X location is going to go. So I'm going to do minimum X and minimum Y. Or minimum X and maximum X. Sorry. Okay. So right now, it's not moving it anywhere. That's fine for the moment. Now this time, what I'm going to do is, well, okay. We also ought to look at, when I move this around, you'll notice that this does not move with it like I would hope it would, right? So, we have some other things here. I don't ever mess with this one. Let's look at local space, and let's see what it does, right? Now we have that going, so that's fine. So now I can move this around. R, Z. Okay. Now let's see. Just undo that for a moment. And now we're going to limit the transform. And here's what I want to do. The maximum X I want to turn off. GX, and we'll put it about here, right? I'll put it about 85. I want to try and keep like a whole number if I can. That's just me being a little bit persnickety on that, you know? Okay, so now if I take this, Control C, maximum X, Control V, there we go. So, GX. Okay, so now we have our limits. Okay, now let's make sure that it matches with everything else, right? GXX. Okay. Pretty sweet, huh? So now we have that so it's parented. All right, and I'm going to do Alt-R. Okay, let's see. Alt-R, Alt-G. Okay, so now you have your limits on that. So, pretty cool stuff, isn't it? So, and now let's just do a little experiment here, okay? So, I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but we're going to make another object that we're going to make like kind of a parent of this object, right? And let's do 100 on this. Okay, R, X, 90. And we're going to apply that. Okay, G, Y. Just so, like, let's say if we were to have like a door plane on this, right? If we do a Control P on this object, let's see what happens if I rotate this. Okay. The reason I want to make sure that this does what I want it to do is that if I were to do this like as a door latch or something, you know, then that this affects the transforms of everything that's involved here, right? So anyway, that is something that we can use for those transforms and those constraints. So anyway, so this is how you do transform constraints and how you make it so that you can get something a little bit more realistic and something a little more intuitive with what you're going to do, right? So now you have this R, G, R. Pretty cool stuff, isn't it? So let me know what you thought in the comments below, and make sure that you like and you subscribe if you haven't subscribed to this channel already. And thank you so much for watching this episode of Nathan's 3D Factory. You have a great day, everyone.